Hello friends, how are you? Day 13. It is a crisp Monday afternoon. It's about 2:15 p.m. Walking around my neighborhood again. I thought I'd get out of the house. Here's some of the houses, you see. And so today, actually I just finished reading a book. It's called Boundaries in Dating. I actually was, when I first picked up the book to read for the month, I intended to pick up Boundaries, but I picked up Boundaries in Dating. So, still a really good book. It's just focused on setting up boundaries while dating, right? So, that's a lot of great things. And I think, that's a really great topic. That's a really important topic, actually. And one of the things that I see is a lot of times I think we hear of the word boundaries, but I don't think a lot of people know how to actually apply them in their life, or maybe how to use them properly or effectively. And so I just want to do a quick video, kind of discuss it a little bit. Hopefully I don't ramble too much. But first of all, what is a boundary, right? I think that's the first thing is good to know. So I'll use an analogy. So if you think of a property, somebody's house, right? What does a boundary do? It basically tells people where your property starts and where it ends, okay? And sometimes it's signified by a fence. So for example, here are some homes. They got property lines, boundaries, right? And they have a fence that shows around. Here are a few other ones as well. Right, so these fences, these walls, they signify a boundary. And so boundaries, when it comes to personal, tells people what you're okay with and what you're not, basically, right? To kind of really simplify things. And so what can they do? They can save you a lot of heartache, a lot of headaches, and a lot of suffering. Because, anybody out there who are people pleasers or allow certain things to happen that they may not be okay with. And if so, that's probably because you haven't set up healthy boundaries yet, okay? And so just did a class with Bruce, with the Conscious Partner, and he talks about 3 things when setting up boundaries. So the acronym is ICE, I-C-E. So I is identify, C is communicate, and E is enforce. And so identify, what's that? So that's the first step. And so, you really just need to ask yourself, okay, why am I feeling this way? Because when a boundary is crossed, you will know it, because deep down you probably feel like, oh man, something wrong. It does not feel right. Something just happened, right? And so first step, identify for yourself. What was the boundary that was actually crossed, right? What was I not okay with? Did someone force certain values, or maybe it's a work thing where you weren't okay prospecting certain people a certain way, but your boss says that's a certain way. Or maybe at a party and your partner flirts with somebody else, right? But identify what the boundary is first and foremost, okay? And know for yourself. Because the clearer you are with it, the clearer you are that you can be when you actually communicate to somebody else, okay? And so second thing is communicate, right? What is that? That's now, okay, you've identified the boundary that was crossed. Now you want to communicate to the person that crossed it. Why? It's not to make them feel bad, but it's really to work with them to hopefully not have that happen again, right? And when communicating, I would definitely encourage you to do it with a positive spirit, a spirit of I don't know if reconciliation is the right word, but towards working together to make the situation better, so that doesn't happen again. Okay, because communicating, what it does at that moment is what you're doing is you're setting the limits and letting them know that what you're okay with and what you're not. Because if you don't communicate it, how will they know? I think sometimes we think people are mind readers or something. Well, they should know, right? Well, you know what? Some people may not have the same values as you. Some people are not. Maybe they're just completely unaware of crossing a boundary, right? We all live in different parts of the world. We all have different cultures that we grew up in, different family dynamics, right? And so, hey, Ann, good to see you. So it's important to actually communicate, right? And let people know, okay, what am I okay with, what am I not? And, pay attention when people react with anger or hostility to your boundaries, okay? Because if they do, what you just discovered is the edge of where the respect ends for you, just crossing a street. And so, you may or will have some pushback with some people when you're setting boundaries, but just know that when you're doing that, you're showing love to yourself, okay? And then as you communicate, I think, when what I see anyways with a lot of people when setting boundaries is they identify and then they communicate and let people know, hey, I'm not okay with this, and they set a limit, right? But there's one more step that I see a lot of people miss, which is actually one of the most important things, is setting consequences, right? So you've got to enforce the boundary. What does that mean? That means if somebody crosses it, you got to let them know, hey, if you cross this again, this is the consequence, okay? And what's important is you got to make the consequence fit the quote-unquote crime, okay? For example, if someone, crossed the boundary one time and you're just starting to date, okay, boom, it's over. Well, you can do that. You can choose to do whatever you want, right? But how does that help you in the future? Because if you go to the extreme every time, that actually does not help you or any of your relationship building skills, right? So that's another thing to note when you're enforcing and putting out consequences, okay? And again, you may get some pushback, okay? But the thing is, toxic people, they make you think that you're holding a grudge when you're really just enforcing a boundary, right? So sometimes, you just gotta understand that people don't like it sometimes. But the ones that the people who get upset when you set your boundaries, they're mostly the ones who are benefiting from you not having any, right? People may take advantage of situation because they know you're a people pleaser or you can't say no. And so, a lack of boundaries also invites a lack of respect. And so, right, learn how to respect yourself first, right? Essentially, you get what you tolerate in this world. So you gotta know what's okay with you, because if you don't respect yourself, then essentially others will not. Where do I want to go? Okay, let's go back this way. And so, again, setting boundaries, I know it may be uncomfortable for some of you, right? But again, that's just showing that you love yourself, and you gotta remember, it can be hard, but I definitely encourage you to do it. It requires courage. Well, it's a little hard talking while walking, but okay. Because, I think we live in a world where, we don't want to disappoint people, right? And so when setting boundaries, I will tell you that inevitably you will be disappointing certain people. But if they're the right people in your life, they will respect them, and they will be the ones that you actually want in your life. So the sooner you actually put up boundaries, the sooner you know who and what type of people should be in your life. Because at the end of the day, we have one life, people. Come on. Surround yourself with people, good people, and understand that, we're all going through something, right? And just love others as you figure out your stuff. I was going to say another word, but Okay. And then the last thing I'll kind of leave with you with regards to boundaries is, if you find yourself living life where there's a lot of people who are crossing a boundary, don't ask why people are doing that. Instead, ask yourself, why am I allowing it to happen? Because at the end of the day, the only thing we have control over is ourselves. We cannot make anybody do anything. And all we have control over is our choices in our life. Okay, so that's my rant, if you will, on boundaries. Hopefully that helps. Yeah, reading. I love reading books because when I read a book, I always get the best of somebody's thoughts. Right. Anytime somebody writes a book, that means they've spent many hours and days and weeks and months and years potentially working on it to get their best thoughts onto paper, and they're sharing with us. And so I always read a book on whatever subject I want to learn at that time. Right now, I usually read about 2 books a month, and that's just based on 15 minutes of reading a day. So, it's not as if I'm spending all day or all afternoon or all weekend. It's just a little bit every day. It'll add up. Okay? And then, so the last thing, the other subject I want to talk about is dating games. So I put in my last, my post last week, I think it was day 7. I did a share on attachment style, but I also shared that I'm going to be starting up some dating games in January. And so the whole point of it is to be able to have people not necessarily date in terms of finding a partner, if you will, but to be able to meet some new people and, more importantly, discuss an important subject together in small groups to learn how to become a better partner, right? So it could be a topic like core values or attachment style, or maybe emotional triggers, letting go of the past, should I sacrifice, 8 conscious connections, sexual connection, like all these different topics that are really important if you really want to create a strong, healthy, long-term relationship. Of course, if you don't care about that stuff, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I don't think there's really anything out there that's offering this. So, I've partnered up with a conscious partner. We're doing that. I'm gonna start up in January, February, in time for Valentine's, because I know a lot of people, especially around spring, it's a great time to get out again, meet some people, live life. Oh my gosh, cannot wait to live life. You get around town and meet people again. But if you're interested, I'm going to throw the link down in the comments. If you're in the Vancouver area, just click join and I'll approve you, get you in there. And when we start up the events, we'll get you in there. But yeah, it's designed to be fun. Just think about this. How amazing would it be to actually get to know somebody without actually going on a date with them on a one-to-one? Because I don't know about yourself, but normally when I go on a date one-to-one, well, typically you want to put your best foot forward. You're trying to get to know them. It's almost like an interview, if you will, right? There's certain expectations and all that stuff, right? But what if you come to an event where you can actually work on something together, an exercise, and through people's answers and interactions, you can actually get to know them a lot, right? Because we're going to talk about some important topics, right? So as certain things come up, what things trigger them? How do they respond to different things? What's important to that person? And you'll be able to actually figure that all out during the event. And, eventually it's going to be like a weekly thing, and we'll have different age categories. But, as you come out on a regular basis, we'll talk about different topics. And as people come out more on a regular basis, you can actually get to know people on a much deeper level, much quicker as well. And at the end of each event, whoever you're interested, just let me know and I'll match you for those who both say yes. But yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So if that interests you or know anybody, add yourself to the group. It's open to singles and couples. And for couples, it'd be like a date night, right? And you'd be in there with like 3 or 4 other couples and, just have a fun night. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm almost home. I'm huffing and puffing. I'm just trying to get my heart up as I'm walking because, my friends, your health is very important. Get some exercise every single day in some way, shape, or form. Love your body, take care of your body, and also take care of your mind and soul and emotions and mental health. Okay? Signing out. Love you all. I will see you tomorrow. Mwah.